This show is an anomaly. It's an anomaly because Dino put us together and he caused me to understand that, wow, this is getting so much bigger. I don't even know this person, but he plays so big. I mean, I can't wait to get to the second segment where we're talking about just your table of contents, dedication to God with the word dedication. That's quite a use of the word dedication, to be dead.
Understand why I was hanging on.
Right.
He's got nothing left. They said he's got nothing left spiritually, physically, emotionally. He's like just this dead body, but he just won't give up. And my dad goes, he's a fighter. And the doctor goes, well, evidently. He goes, no, my dad goes, no, he's a real fighter. That's what he does. He fights for a living.
And notice you didn't say mind. You said spirit, physical, all this stuff, but you didn't say mind. Your mind was fighting the entire time still.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Because something has to be alive for the fight to continue. And it was your mind.
For sure. For sure. So when I woke up after 3 weeks, I told my mom what I saw. She was there at the time. She didn't want to come out. She didn't want to come out unless I woke up. And he knows who did the operation on my leg. He goes, that woman is a miracle worker. I said, no kidding. So you see these three screws from my leg into my foot. Okay. So I have that visitor is always there. My fingers fused. This comes from stunt work and fighting and stuff. I got 4 anchors in my shoulder. So someone goes, it's amazing it's all on the right side. I said, that's because I always thought I was right.
So you're saying that stunt work is very safe, is what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah, everyone should get into it.
All right, so let's cut to that, because this is actually welcome to the Dr. Smiley Show. I just want to say I am so excited about having Michael Sinclair Walter on this particular episode because he is a man who's fired up about sharing his story and also all the great things he's doing. I mean, this show is about amplifying the goodness of people that cause inspiration, hope, and most importantly, dreams to become reality. So welcome to the show, Michael.
God bless you. Thank you for having me, Ken.
Well, my first go-to is this show doesn't happen without a young man, Dino Klein, right?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Clean. And it's funny, but a person like Dino says, you need to connect with Michael. He's fantastic. I connect with you a year ago, and we've had back and forth. And a relationship is fueled by the amount of conversations you have.
Agreed.
And you mailed me a copy of your book. You are playing really big, and your story is certainly amazing. And I chose you as one of my 365 people that are moving the world in the right direction because you're not only the real deal, but I think you make the world better because you share your story so clear and so vulnerably. So let's find out who Michael is. So, Michael, first of all, where were you born and what was your childhood like?
I was born in Bethesda, Maryland, November 16th, 1953. I had a wonderful childhood. Both my parents and 2 sisters and a brother. I'm the baby of the family. So you can just imagine how that happened. And it was in Maryland, Bethesda, Maryland, and Wheaton, Maryland. And my father,
Wait a second. You're saying too many Maryland things. I got to tell you. I mean, I'm in Maryland right now doing the show,
right,
of course.
right.
And Wheaton, Maryland, is where Chuck Levin's used to be. Well, I think it still is, but it was the music place where you go if you want music.
Okay.
And then Bethesda is one of the coolest and most beautiful cities in the Maryland area.
Yeah, I miss Maryland a lot, but I'm out here in New Mexico. Maryland, when I grew up, and possibly when you grew up, we could go down to a place called Pumphrey's Park and drink the water out of the creek, literally.
Yeah.
And just drink the water. Needless to say, you cannot do that today. Went to St. Catherine's of La Brea.
Oh no, Michael, you can do that. You'll just be very sick now.
Maryland was a lot of good experiences. And then my father moved around a lot for his job. He was in the life insurance business. And so I was in Maryland until I was 8 years old. And then we moved to Dallas, Texas. And there we were there for 5 years, I believe. And then we moved to Chicago. We were there for 3 years, then Vermont. And I was in Vermont for another 3 years. And then I went traveling all over the world because I was now 18.
Why did you travel all over the world?
Adventure adventure, and then eventually work in the film business.
What gave you that bug? What gave you the bug of the film business?
Hard to say. I was involved in a very bad automobile accident, which you read about in the book, in my story. And when I came out in the recovery, my martial arts instructor, Danny Asano, who was Bruce Lee's best friend and training partner, convinced me through my training I couldn't go on to I was turning pro as a fighter, and that was not happening because of the injuries that I sustained from the automobile accident. I was paralyzed.
How old were you when you had the automobile accident?
26.
Okay.
And I was left paralyzed from the waist down, blinded, deaf in my right ear, broken shoulder, broken back.
Wow.
No chances of surviving, no chances of ever walking again. And when I woke up after a 3-week coma, the doctor said, we don't know why he lived, but he'll probably never walk again.
Do you know why you lived?
My father once asked me that. He goes, you shouldn't try to figure it out. It'll come to you one day. I think now I'll be 72 years old in November. I think I've sort of figured it out that I lived to share my story, my struggle, my heartache with the world.
What state do you live in when you had that accident?
California, is in Redondo Beach, California. High-speed police chase, 90 miles an hour. We hit a palm tree at 90 miles an hour, and I was pronounced dead on the scene.
So you were chasing the police?
No, the police were chasing us.
So you were a little bit of a rebel out of the gate.
Very much of a rebel, and it was high speed. It was a cocaine bust. I was a maverick in a lot of senses of the way. I didn't agree. Sometimes I still don't agree with our government, but I didn't agree with the government. I didn't agree where we're at, the Vietnam War, and I just resisted a lot of stuff. I resisted authority, and as you have read in the book, the reason I resisted the authority is because of punishment I received in school from authoritative figures. I was molested by a Catholic priest at 8 years old. So this really put a lot of messed up thoughts in my head about people, about authority, the legal system. And so I was very small. I was a very small person. I was like 4'11", 99 pounds until my junior year in high school. Got into the martial arts, hopefully because I was being picked on all the time in school, head was flushed in the toilet, lunch money taken away from me. And I'm not saying these things to have you or your audience go all for him. That it happens to a lot of people.
It does.
Okay. It happens to a lot of children. And the molestation is over 60 years old. The sad part, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but in my opinion, not a whole lot has changed. We hear things, and we hear things from the church and from legal entities that they're trying to, and I'm sure things have progressed to a degree that constitutes something. But in my heart and things I hear, not much has changed. And that's very sad, because what it did to me as a child and the influence it put on me, and it established bad relationships through my whole life. Either I attracted the wrong people in my life, or I drew the wrong people into my life. And the reason why I wanted to come on your show is because, do you remember the film Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was a big movie.
A huge movie. It's one of my favorite movies. But the reason why it's one of my favorite movies is that we are forgiven. Okay. And I went through the majority of my life thinking something was wrong with me. I wasn't a man. I was unforgiven. And I had to bring it upon myself through God to realize that I was forgiven. And a lot of things that happened to me were self-inflicted, but a lot of things that happened to me happened because of circumstance, either a bad cop, or I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, or it was the wrong decision coming from me. I'm very accountable for the mistakes I made in my life. Um, Someone else might say, "Oh, too bad that happened to you." Well, I drew upon a lot of stuff that happened prior as an excuse, as an entitlement, which I don't think I or anybody has the right to have. And it took a long time. It took a long time, and my beautiful wife, Kelly, to help me look at the world and people in a different way. I remember a story one time when we first met, my wife, Kelly, and I. She was in the car,
How old
and
were you
someone,
when you met?
um, 50, we've been together 17 years. I was in my 50s.
My
Was
point in
that
interjecting right now is that it's not just your wife that actually helped you see a better approach to actually, I think, reasonability and also wisdom and peace and love, and mainly love, is that back then you had anger,
Oh,
possibly.
for sure. Oh my gosh.
And anger doesn't work with cops, and anger doesn't work with.
No, not at all. And you can't outrage a radio, a police radio.
Right.
Um, I was very angry, and I've even talked to friends from my past now, and we reflected on when I was 17, 18, 19 years old, and all this stuff that happened to me as a child built up this internal anger, and I didn't know how to express it, so I would fight. That was my way of dominance. That was my way of proving that I was a masculine, whatever. I went from this small kid to, wait, like I said, a small kid in my junior year in high school, 119 pounds, to now we're talking in my 20s, I was 180 pounds, 5'11", all the time in the martial arts. But my respect for the art was there, but my internal pain, my internal anger, I would take out. I would take out on policemen. I would take it out on any authoritative figure that was in my life. And I felt entitled, and I'm not entitled, but that's where my feelings were at. And
Do you think that that's where a lot of our current generation is?
entitled, yes. And who am I? I'm just
No, my point is it's a scary thought process to say I've done nothing to make a contribution to the world, and yet I'm
right,
to the world.
right. And a lot of this comes from, you know, cell phones, computers, social media. We didn't have that when I was growing up as a kid. You see things on Instagram, and you see some kid on a Stingray bicycle jumping a wood ramp in the street. And I said, if you can remember this, you had an ultimate childhood. And I miss those days. And
Hmm.
I know you have, me included, you have to grow up and realize where we're at in 2025. But in my opinion, something's wrong. I don't know the answer,
No, I do know the answer.
Okay.
And by the way, I don't know the whole answer. I'm just telling you what I think is the answer. Let me preface that. So
Okay.
entitlement is the amplification of narcissism, in my opinion. Okay. Like you're telling people that you're the most important thing, that the world is revolving around you.
Right.
That's that. What I think is the answer, and this is an interesting interview on so many levels. So thank you for bringing this out of me and also causing this conversation. But it is it's about who is your mentor. If your mentor is someone like John Wayne, or your mentor is Trump, or your mentor is Obama, or your mentor is Da Vinci, or your mentor is Elon Musk, whoever that is, it's feeding how your perception of life should be.
Hmm.
And if your mentor happens to be Jesus, it may be that you understand that you are not entitled. You are here to serve. And that's a big shift.
Yes,
Entitlement,
sir.
servant, massive. And so, like I said, I don't know the answer, but I believe the answer is moving from entitlement into service.
Agreed. Totally agreed.
I want to compliment you on something. If I never knew you, you are loud. You are obnoxious. You are, I want to be heard. And that's why you're on the show, because this show is an anomaly. It's an anomaly because Dino put us together and he caused me to understand that, wow, this is getting so much bigger. I don't even know this person, but he plays so big. I mean, I can't wait to get to the second segment where we're talking about just your table of contents, dedication to God with the word dedication. That's quite a use of the word dedication, to be dead.
Hmm.
I'd actually like to skip to this. I mean, that's the first thing you put in the book, dedication to God. Talk about that, please.
Well, I've got into a lot of conversations with people, and I respect people who don't have any spiritual beliefs. That's their go-to, whatever.
Hmm.
Okay. And I get into a lot of conversations with people who don't believe in God. And I respect that. And all I ask is you respect my belief in God
Right.
because I died. I know there's a God. I saw God. I saw my guardian angel. Okay. And it has caused such an impact in my life so long ago, but I was so entrapped with bondage of self that Satan ruled my life and I allowed it. I still believed in God, but I was on the other entitled, I was on the other side of the track. Okay. So when somebody goes, what do you mean by that? I said, I ran with the devil for 20 years. Okay. And he's not who you think he is. And you got to be really careful because he'll manipulate you in ways that are unbelievable. He'll manipulate you ways in your marriage, in your job, in your relationships to try to cut away at the root of your own foundation of self, bondage of self. Okay. So for a long time after my car accident, I had pictures of me in a wheelchair. I had pictures of me in a coma in my wall. So you'd come up to me and go, how you doing, Mike? And I would pull out my wallet and say, this is what happened to me. I was just so lost. I was dead. I was a walking dead man.
Hmm.
Okay. And I've had a few, I keep complimenting my wife because she was so important in the transformation of my own existence. But I've had other people, Judo Jean LaBelle, Danny Anasano, who was Bruce Lee's best friend and training partner.
How'd you meet him?
I met him through a letter. I've been in the martial arts all my life. I was in Chicago, problem with the law again. I was in Chicago and I had to leave Illinois. So I heard about Danny Anasano through Black Belt Magazine and different things on TV and stuff. So I wrote him a letter, and he had an academy, the Filipino Kali Academy and Chinese Kickboxing Academy, and it was in Torrance, California. They had just came, Bruce Lee had just died. It was 1973. Bruce Lee had just died, And this was 1975, I think, when I contacted him, 74. And I was asking permission to come out and train under him. They had just left. They were in backyards. They were training in people's backyards. And Mr. Insano just got a building off Normandy Street in Torrance, California. And they were starting to school him and a gentleman named Richard Bastello. Richard has passed since previous years ago. So they accepted my letter and said they'll welcome me out to the academy. So I hitchhiked all the way out to California, got a room for $25 a week, had to find a job, and started training constantly there. And we were training for the 1980 Olympics. And which, I don't know if you know the history behind that. We boycotted Moscow, and then we didn't go, and that shattered a bunch of dreams. And so then Danny and Asano said, with my boxing coach, a gentleman named Art Saxel, he said, well, let's fight, excuse me, let's fight the #1 contender and let's go pro. Okay. That was the plan after the Olympics. He goes, you need to lose some weight, because I was fighting at middleweight, and middleweight back then was 153 to 167 pounds. And I think I was around 172, 175. I had to drop the weight down because I was too small to be a light heavyweight. So I would train in a bizarre fashion. I would run 6 miles a day, 1,000 sit-ups, 1,000 push-ups. I was just obsessed with this. And so we were going to arrange to fight this gentleman, which you'll smile when I say his name. We're going to arrange to fight this gentleman because the Olympics were out of the picture. And we were in talks to fight a gentleman named Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
No kidding.
No kidding. And they thought I really had a chance to possibly win. And so I was all excited about it. But see, I was in battles, bondage of self. I was in battles with my belief in God and my running with the devil. Okay? They ought to do a song like that someday.
Maybe Van Halen will pick it up.
My brother has actually given me a couple of very interesting songs to listen to for possible soundtrack on my film that we're in development on making on the story from the book. So we're arranging to fight Hagler. I think I had 3 more fights, state Golden Gloves, Diamond Belt, and the AAU tryout. And I was all pumped up and I was in great shape. Weighed 165, I think, at the time. And
again, you were what?
165 pounds.
Okay. What was your record at that point?
I was undefeated. I had lost a couple of times. I lost to Gene LaBelle. And I'm the first to admit it. Someone goes, how'd that go? I said, not real well. And he was 53 years old. But it was later on in my career. I just trained obsessively. Okay. I would work a regular job as a plumber. I'd work and then I'd go train. I'd get back into home at 9.
So what was that obsession? I mean, there are people that are cut and they're almost perfect anatomy and they're so obsessed with it. What is that causes that?
Mine came from what happened to me as a child.
Yeah.
I was in constant overdrive to prove that I was a man.
Yeah.
That what happened to me was against all my beliefs and my messed up thinking about authoritative figure. Where were the authoritative figures when I was molested by that priest?
Did he ever get prosecuted?
No, but I did hear later on, he's a friend of the family. I did hear later on years ago, he went blind naturally. And I don't even know if he's still alive. And when you have all this media coverage on stuff coming up with the Catholic Church and stuff, someone asked me, "You want to press the story with us?" I said, "No, my story will come out in my film, and my story came out in my book. I'm not here for retribution. I'm here for healing. I'm not saying I forgive this man, or maybe I should learn how to forgive him. Okay, we all have different struggles and battles in life, and I don't know what his were, and we all have them. Okay, and for a long time I thought that wasn't true. Just I was screwed up.
I would argue live on the air right now that I think you have forgiven him, because I think you are an inspiration. I think you have conquered a lot of demons, and so on some level you've forgiven him, because you. I don't think.
Okay, I won't disagree with that. I mean, I don't. This is the first time I've talked about it in a long, long time. But it's if I can't, Jesus Christ forgave me. If I can't forgive people, how can I expect to even forgive myself or ask for forgiveness? Okay. It comes down to, to get back real quick. I'm sorry, I jumped away from it. So Marvin Hagler's story came. We're gonna fight, and we're lining it up. And on May 22nd, 1980, we're down in Redondo Beach, back when it was safe to go down there, having a beach party. Motorcycles are on the strand, we're on the beach, we're drinking, doing drugs, bonfire. And a friend of mine said, "Don't you have a fight coming up?" And I said, "I'm fine." Okay, Mr. Entitlement. I'm fine. So the driver, I said, we had to get home. I said I had to get over to a girlfriend's house at the time. And so we're going to leave. I carried the driver because he was too intoxicated to walk. I carried the driver to his car, put him in the driver's seat. It was his car. I got in the passenger seat, and we started driving at high speeds through Hermosa and Redondo Beach. We turned left on 190th Street, and now police started following us. Okay. I had a warrant out for my arrest for some reason. And Dave was his name, said, what do you want to do? I said, I can't get caught. And so we accelerated up to 90 miles an hour, came to the intersection of 190th Street and Flagler Lane. The car went airborne, and we hit a palm tree at 90 miles an hour, and I died.
Mm.
It took them a half hour with the jaws of life and power equipment to pull me out of the car. They thought I was dead also. And my little finger, and I do a pinky push-up, by the way. My pinky was doing this, and they said it was just a nervous reaction. And one of the paramedics goes, "I think that guy's trying to pull himself out of the car." Okay. So they got me up, and they realized I wasn't dead. And they pulled me out of the car, brought me to Suburban Hospital. I don't know if it's still there or not, in Redondo Beach. I comatose for three weeks. And I was diagnosed being paralyzed from the waist down, broken jaw, broken back, broken shoulder, 5 broken ribs, multiple skull fractures, with 1,000,000 to 1 chances of surviving.
But you still fought Marvelous Marvin.
No.
I'm just kidding you. You know that's a joke. There's no.
I actually talked to him years later, and reminisce old times.
Well, while we're doing an interruption, real quick,
Sure.
the gentleman who trained Bruce Lee, who trained you, his name again?
Danny Inosanto.
Did he ever tell you what made Bruce Lee Bruce Lee?
We had long talks and stuff, and from my understanding, Bruce was very obsessed with the ability and the reflexes to be fast.
Okay.
be faster, 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 faster. Okay. And no, he never did, but we did talk a lot, especially after my accident. We talked all the time, and people were thinking I was getting private lessons. Me and Danny would meet just to talk because I was so confused. I was confused about life. I was confused about death. I was confused about why I survived, why I survived with all these disabilities. Um,
Why do you
we
think?
talked
Why do you think you did?
to tell my story, to hopefully, even if it's one, hopefully help people, even just one, see that we are forgiven. We have to forgive ourselves.
I
Not
think
necessarily. Go ahead.
I just want to say I think it's bigger than that. I think it's you're a fighter. I
Oh,
think, and because you're a fighter, when someone's told they can't fight anymore, you fight harder.
no. And the doctors told my father, who is not alive anymore. Um, they said they didn't understand why I was hanging on.
Right.
He's got nothing left. They said he's got nothing left spiritually, physically, emotionally. He's like just this dead body, but he just won't give up. And my dad goes, he's a fighter. And the doctor goes, well, evidently. He goes, no, my dad goes, no, he's a real fighter. That's what he does. He fights for a living.
And notice you didn't say mind. You said spirit, physical, all this stuff, but you didn't say mind. Your mind was fighting the entire time still.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Because something has to be alive for the fight to continue. And it was your
For
mind.
sure. For sure. For sure. So when I woke up after 3 weeks, I told my mom what I saw. She was there at the time. She didn't want to come out. She didn't want to come out unless I woke up from the coma. And so when I did wake up, she was there and holding my hand or whatever. My leg was in a 60-pound cast, in traction, respirator, all these tubes coming in and out of my body. And I said to her, I said, I saw it all. And she goes, what? I said, I saw it all. She goes, what are you talking about? I said, Mom, I left my body. I saw it all. And as the story says in the book, my body raised through the ceiling. I met an angel. I look back on my life. Should make a pretty good movie. And the angel told me it was not my time yet. And I didn't want to come back. I didn't want to come back. I was at peace. And I think I was at peace for the first time in my life. And ironically, I was almost dead. And they said, a decision's being made whether you should come with me or go back with them. And I said, I don't want to go back. And they said, and I forget how to paraphrase it all, but the decision was not up to me. And then I woke up the next day.
In what condition?
Powerful stuff. Well, I mean, I was in the hospital.
Yeah, I mean, you were only alive. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's incredible to see you. I mean, we have not met, and I am flying out to meet you. You're in the Mexico area.
yes, sir.
And you have very big dreams, and you are not just a fighter. You are so inspired to actually cause people that may have gone through some type of degree of hardships that you have to actually know there's another side to it.
There is. And I don't even like the word disability. I like, what is it called? I can't think of the word. Anyway,
It'll come to you.
my daughter said to me, why don't you get a handicap plate? Why do I need a handicap plate? She goes, Dad, you probably should get a handicap plate. So I did. And it's very helpful, actually. But point being, and I was wrong, I thought we're given a hand, we're dealt with in life. You just have to accept it, and whatever happens, happens. That is not true. We are given a hand in life. We are dealt a hand in life. but it's up to you as an individual, your belief in whatever you believe in, whatever you want to call it, higher power, the rock. But you have to believe in something besides yourself. I had to believe in something that could pull me out of the depression, of the anger, of the entitlement, that my life could be better. Okay. And it was my choice. And that became a big mantra of mine, that we all have choices. Everything's a choice. And I didn't realize that.
I love that. I love that because there are people that are miserable. And I say, you could be happy. And they say, no, I'm miserable. And I go, no, but you choose that.
Right. Exactly.
Or another one, I'm stressed out of my mind. And I go, yeah, but why are you choosing that? Because you don't have to be stressed out of your mind.
Exactly.
I want to add something to your epiphany, because you're causing me to think at a really spiritual and level that I don't even know how to describe it. And I just want to say thank you, first of all, Michael. But you say the hand you're given and then what you do with it, the choices you do. But I want to say this and ask you what you think of this. The hand you attract and what you're going to do with the hand you attracted. Because I think there's a degree, and although you would never say I deserve what I had done to me, in some ways, if you had been brought up a different way, you might have attracted a different hand. And I'm not saying your dad and mom were bad or anything like that. I'm saying
they were good people.
Get my point? You get my point, though?
Yeah.
Is my son has been brought up that there are people that could change his life, meaning they could kidnap him, they could enslave him, they would remove him from our love. And if he doesn't know that that's possible, he could be naive enough to think that all people are good. And you have to actually teach that hand is not always the hand you're going to get.
Right. And it's on a point, maybe I put the wrong words in it.
I don't know, put the wrong words. We're clear.
No, as far as attraction, choice, I tell people all the time, they get very upset with me, actually. They'll say, well, you hurt my feelings. I said, I don't have the power to hurt your feelings.
Right.
You've chosen to hurt your feelings, and you're using me as a scapegoat. And they don't like hearing that.
No, they don't.
And I'm sorry for that, but I mean, that is
because they don't hear the gift. The gift they don't hear the gift that you're just being true.
Right.
And that truth can land, that they can accept it, or they could actually say it's not actually true and actually have a conversation with you. But you're just sharing your truth. That's all you're sharing, not hurting them.
Exactly. And it used to be brutal honesty. Now I try to put a little, I've learned to put a little bubble around my mouth before I open it, which that's growth in itself for anybody who knew me or knows me. We attract, as you were just saying, and some people may agree and some people may disagree, and that's cool. I love you for who you are, and that's all cool. But in my belief, in my world, I attract everything that happens in my life, good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when it's bad, I've got to reflect on it and look at it. And before it was, why is this happening to me? I don't do that anymore. Now I say to myself, what am I supposed to learn from this? Okay. And when it's good, I don't pump my chest up and say, ha, 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 this is because I'm great. I also say to myself, okay, this is really great what's happening to me, money-wise, work-wise, movie-wise, whatever. What am I supposed to learn from this? It all comes down to what I'm attracting in my life. And if I'm attracting something negative, I've really got to look in the mirror and ask myself, why? Why? And what mindset are you at that this is happening? Because everything happens the way it's supposed to happen, good or bad.
It's amazing.
It's the way it is. It is. It's the way it is.
And I want to interject that Henry Ford's quote of whether you think you can or you can't is right. It's also about if you're in that mode of scarcity or abundance, that you're attracting the truth for you because you have to have that truth match your belief.
Right.
It's a very crazy thing. Like I could actually say, this will be the worst day I've had in a long time, and I will actually create that.
And it will be.
And then I get to shout and say I was right, but it wasn't a good right to be.
Right, but it's, and I've got to check myself all. I do real well, but I stumble sometimes with words, and words are so powerful in a person's perception of themselves and of life. Okay. Oh, it's going to be a blank day. Well, guess what? It ended up being a blank day. Okay. Well, did you create that? That could be up for another discussion.
I love what you said right there, because you could add, so what do you want the blank to be?
Exactly.
That's a great comment there. I mean, I love that, Michael.
We have more, and this took me years. This didn't come overnight. This took me years of drug abuse, sobriety, recovery, family dilemmas, drama in life, to come up with the thought pattern or the thought process is, for me, and I see it in a lot of other people, but I can only talk to myself. I mean, talk about myself. God's given me the ability to create my own life. What do I have to complain about? Well, if I complain about something, why did I create that? Why did I create that scenario in my life? If I'm having a bad day, pretty much can guarantee that I created it or I caused it. If I'm having a great day, great things are happening, is that luck? Or did I cause that with the proper behavior that I'm supposed to have by staying positive? Okay. I was nervous about our interview today. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure I was going to say the right things. I wasn't sure my behavior was going to be correct. And what did I do? I prayed. I prayed for God's guidance to carry out the message I'm trying to carry out. We talk about forgiveness, happiness, courage, discipline, and my disabilities have become my greatest ability. I'll just explain to you, I'm not going to show you, but I guarantee you I'm wearing it. I have a fiberglass leg. Goes from my foot, my shoes in it, my shoe, the brace up to my knee. Okay. And I've got to wear this the rest of my life. I have to wear it every day to be able to stand up correctly and to walk. But sometimes when my leg's feeling good and I'm feeling good, I think I don't need it anymore. And so I'll take it off. And I walk around the house, I'm feeling good. I get in the car, I go down the street, and all of a sudden, guess what? Now I'm not walking real well. I got to get back home, get my brace on, and I just say, what a hard head, you're hard-headed. It's a daily reminder. A couple of things from my accident are a daily reminder, and stunt work. But it doesn't come from a poor me. It comes from, I'm blessed. I'm blessed I still have both my legs. Might be in a little bit of pain, but I'm blessed that I have the ability to feel that. You know, I've got somebody goes, getting old sucks. No, it doesn't. Getting old is a privilege. A lot of friends of mine didn't stick around and have the ability to be this age.
Hmm.
It all comes with an attitude. It all comes with a choice. And I choose today to try to have a good attitude, best I can, serve other people the best I can. I definitely don't wear a halo, or if I do, it's wrapped around my neck, most of the time. But this was good, and this was very helpful for me.
Oh, we still got 3 hours to go, bro. So
Okay.
I do want to say two quotes real quick. All right. And they're both ironically by Robert M. Hensel, Hensel. And I've never heard of this gentleman, but you mentioned before we did our show disability. And so I decided to look up an inspirational disability quote. May I share two?
Sure, please.
Know me for my abilities, not my disability.
Nice.
And then the other one I really love by him is there is no greater disability in society than the inability to see a person as more. That's huge. Now you're telling me that you have one leg, right?
No, I have two legs. And my wife jokes with me, and she goes, "Why do you keep telling people you don't have an ankle? You have an ankle. It doesn't function, but you have you have an ankle." I have 3 3-inch screws from my leg to my foot.
So you got bonuses.
I have.
I mean, most people can't say they got 3-inch screws. I mean, you got that.
Exactly, and it's really funny. I just had an X-ray done the other day because they give me cortisone shots because after about a year, I start walking very, very not well. I don't walk real well. It's in a lot of pain and stuff. So I get cortisone shots in that foot. So they did the X-ray, and the doctor goes, "Man, this is amazing. Whoever did it," and he knows who did the operation on my leg. He goes, "That woman is a miracle worker." I said, "No kidding." So you see these 3-inch screws from my leg into my foot. Okay. So I have that visitor is always there. My fingers fused. This comes from stunt work and fighting and stuff. I got 4 anchors in my shoulder. So someone goes, "It's amazing. It's all on the right side." I said, "That's because I always thought I was right."
So you're saying that stunt work is very safe, is what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, everyone should get into it.
All right, so let's cut to that because this is actually a bit of why we're having this call on this show. So you have some things behind you. We'll go to the third one, which should be the first one based on interest. There's a fire going behind you, and I don't want that to be the first one. I want to be the third. Okay.
Okay.
The first one I want to go to is to the other shoulder. You have a couple people photobombing you, and it says John Lovitz. I see one. I don't see all the names perfectly. My eyes are not great, but you have something behind you. Why is that behind you, and what does it mean?
This is another in the fire.
No.
This is
Yes.
City Slickers. This is City Slickers 2.
And why? Why is that there?
Because I was in it. I was a stuntman in City Slickers 2.
What'd you do?
Did a couple fight scenes, and then we got thrown down this cliff, sort of this ledge, and then I was in the middle of this horse stampede. But it was done very safely. The stunt coordinator, Mickey Gilbert, built a fence, like a 3-foot high fence around us. Okay.
Yeah.
And then had 250 wild stallions running. I guess if you think about it, they could have knocked down the fence, but they didn't. They went around it. So when they filmed it, they were filming the actors and stuff there, and then it was the stunt guys there for the real chaos with the stampede.
Maybe we can get that little link of that particular part into the show. We'll see.
Okay.
But Billy Crystal, John Lovitz. I think John Lovitz is So underrated. I think he's absolutely brilliant. Did you get to meet them, talk to them?
I met Billy Crystal. I don't remember if I met Levitt or not.
He's a funny dude. He's like
Met met Jack Palance,
a,
and they were all in character, so they didn't want to be disturbed. Um, but I've got great memories. They're 45 years in the motion picture industry, and been all over the world, and have some phenomenal relationships and great memories.
so
And I believe
I see a a frame behind you where you played a stuntman on a horse with a red cape on as an Indian.
no,
I'm just kidding.
no.
I'm kidding. So tell me about that. Why is that important behind you?
It's just a picture. It's my wife's picture in Southwest.
Yeah, but that's important. Do you know what I see?
What? Turning your back on everything?
No, not at all. Not even close. No, what I see is I see peace and tribe and
Mm.
I see I see living. Honestly, I see that they're together.
You're a unique individual, sir.
I mean, I see love there. Honestly, I really do.
Cool. Cool.
It's interesting, but they're walking away from problems, or they're walking away. They're together. They are really together, and I love the fact that it's your wife, and the fact that you kind of are what I believe is awakened. That would symbolize that to my
Interesting.
understanding.
No, that's very, very interesting. We have another, we just saw it in our storage unit yesterday, which we want to bring back into the house, of an eagle, solo eagle flying. But then in the living room, right over here, it's a mountain, uh, a mountain goat jumping from one mountain range and a big space to another,
Mhm.
and it's in the middle. And the title of the picture is called "A Leap of Faith."
Yeah, and it's gonna and that animal will land because the faith actually means
Right.
he's fine, he's sturdy, and he will land where he knows he will land. The painting behind you, do you know the name of that painting? The one with the Indians?
Kelly, do you know the name of this painting? No.
So there's two ways. I love the fact that you said they're turning their back on you, and so as an optimist, you see it one way. As a pessimist, you see it another way. As an angry person, you see it one way. As a love person, you see it. So what I saw is a little bit of what you shared, which is they're moving from their past, which doesn't serve them anymore, and
Walking away.
they're moving into a future that will.
Right. You know, I used to, I think it's great strength. I used to not believe this, to walk away. Before, when I say before, I'm talking 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I used to think that was a sign of weakness. Walking away was a sign of weakness. Walking away from a fight was a sign of weakness. You're not a man. Okay. You have to stand your ground, win or lose. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that way today. I think it takes great courage, great determination, and great strength to turn and walk away from whatever.
Yeah, but Michael, you're causing so many freaking epiphanies. I mean, this is a gorgeous conversation. I'm so happy we're having it. I want to say that I would remove the word ironically away and say toward. You you don't walk away from a fight, you walk toward peace, or you walk toward.
Okay, agreed, agreed. And that's very interesting that you brought that up, because when I moved here, someone goes, "Are you running from Maryland?" Because I was in legal problems. I had
Right?
legal problems. And I said, "No, it's the first time I can remember in my life I actually think I'm running towards them.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be in New Mexico. I was going to California to do a book tour." And someone goes, "Have you been in New Mexico before?" I said, "Why would I want to go to New Mexico?" I thought it was the desert. And it is to some extent. There's low desert, high desert, but you have mountains, trees, snows here. It snows here. And I said, "Why would I want to go to New Mexico?" And They said, I don't know. I just have a feeling you're supposed to go to New Mexico.
There's a lot of spiritual energy there, that's for sure.
Yes. And this mountain is right by our house, Sandia Mountain. It's the southern most point of the Rocky Mountains. And it's Navajo. I think it's a Navajo reservation.
I'm supposed to visit you there soon.
Yes, you are. And I'll show it to you. And it's called the Watermelon Mountain because at sunset it turns into a watermelon color.
Oh, that's
beautiful,
cool.
beautiful, beautiful. So when I first came here, I lived on the west side, and this mountain kept drawing me to it. I didn't understand why, and I had to move closer. So I moved closer. So now I'm right at the foothills of it. And ironically, now I'm going to move back to the west side. I have found Mike and I have found Pete. Okay. I'm very happy about that. And I moved towards something. And now I'm turning, I use turning my back, but I'm turning around, let's say, I'm turning around and going back to something.
That's good.
I don't know what that may be, but it's in my heart, and God and the Holy Spirit are guiding me to this. And you know, I've always believed. I've always been a believer. Unorthodox and made some mistakes, but I've always been a believer. And on May 15th of this year, I prayed and I prayed. Something has to change. I didn't know what it was, but I wasn't feeling comfortable in my own skin again, and something had to change. Went to bed that night, woke up the next morning. My wife reads the Bible every single day. I read it, but I don't read it every day. Now I do read it every day. May 15th, something happened. I woke up the next day. I don't even know how to describe it. I don't know whether you want to call it a spiritual awakening, an epiphany, or just an awakening. But my attitude changed. Kelly said something about it. What's going on with you? And something changed. Habits started changing. My communication was, in general, being kind, being nicer to people. Something changed. And I found peace in that. So I'll be 72 November 16th. I can honestly say that Mike Walter has finally found peace.
I can tell. So you said, I mean, the person I see behind you photobombing you is Jack Palance, right? And you met him. You met him.
Yes, yes.
I mean, what a treat. And I just want to show the audience Jack Palance for 1 second.
Okay.
So that's the young Jack Palance. That's the Jack Palance that was more in the movie right there. He was definitely a mature actor, and there he is there's the
strong guy, strong
yeah.
man.
I mean, yeah, big, strong guy. I mean, he's the epitome of Mr. Atlas, kind of. So, you know, it's funny that we're at this point of the show, and sometimes the show's over, and sometimes sometimes got a ways to go. But the reason we are here is there was a man on fire, and we haven't talked about that. So that person behind you is you.
Yes. Let me. This is me. Can you see this right here?
I can see it. You can almost recognize the happiness you have in that picture. You're smiling, you're dancing as you're on fire.
This Kelly brought this up once. Kelly brought it to my attention. So was the first person who brought it to my attention. Excuse me. But then other people have since then brought this up. I want to describe something to you and tell me if you see it. The flames, I made my own fuel back then, and we're coming out of the Friday the 13th barn here.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Okay. There's a gentleman, which you can't see up in here with a camera looking down, and then the crew is in front of us. Okay. As I walk, clothes are dropping off from the rubber cement and the diesel fuel that was poured on. A gallon of it was poured on top of me. I set a world record. Dar Robinson, who got me into business at this time, this was 1986, I think. Dar held a world record for a minute. I think it was a minute back then. And I went a minute and 11 seconds, a minute and 15 seconds. So I set a new world record. This was a long time ago, 1986. If you see above, there's my head right here.
Yeah, I know.
Body. If you see above that, it almost looks like an angel.
I know. Yeah, and the thing is, the first time you look at it, you don't see the man, you see the angel.
Right, exactly.
And my guardian angel, the man becomes kind of a small little like detail that's not as significant at all. It's pretty great.
And I make my guardian angels work overtime. I have all
yes,
my.
You do.
So anyway, so we did that, and then I had a really neat picture. I don't know where it's at, of me on the ground, and that was a signal for them to put me out. And me on the ground, and the flames were still like 6-7 feet coming off my body.
And are we talking? How are you feeling at that point?
Hot.
Hot as in uncomfortable, or hot as in this is
no, hot as in uncomfortable. I needed to be put out.
Yeah.
And that's the signal. You go down, and then if the person, me, is now banging their hands on the ground,
it's dramatic.
Like, come on, man.
It's urgent.
Right. So then years later, 1999 in Las Vegas, on Guinness World Book primetime, they contacted me because of these old records I had. And they said, there's a new world record of 2 minutes on a fire burn. And I said, I've never heard that before. And they said, yeah, such and such. I said, can I see it? And then they didn't have proof of it. But the point was, they were trying to bait and switch me. Would I come in and try to attempt a new world record?
Right.
And I bought it. So I said, sure. So they said, well, we need to see if you can go 90 seconds. So I did a practice burn in a friend of mine's backyard, sent it to them. They were happy with it. And then now we're out in Vegas. I have a stunt team of really high professional guys and sons of stuntmen on my team. So we stoked this ice cold gel for 24 hours. You soak your clothing in the ice cold gel for 24 hours. And let me know I think I have it somewhere, if you want me to send you a copy of it. So now we're going to do a practice burn the night before the TV show is going to happen. And we're at Fremont Experience in Las Vegas, Nevada. And it was all set up. And a special effects guy came out, and he's got 4 flash bombs, 4 cannons. They just wanted to make sure I was going to go on fire, because it was going to be on live TV. So we did a practice burn, and they show the audience them dressing me, and I'm freezing, and because I'm being dressed now with ice cold clothing and with ice cold gel soaks all over me. And they put me in my fire suit, and they bathed me with my chemical fuel, and they set me on fire. Okay. Well, it went great. And I thought, why don't we use this for the show? Why do I have to do it again tomorrow? But that's not the way it went. So now it's the next day, we're doing it all over again. And my air supply, because it was so cold, the O-ring in my air supply froze and cracked.
Oh boy.
Okay. So now they want to go to a commercial, and can we get it fixed? And I said, no, I'll do it without any air. Because I had done a lot of burns.
So you were doing the Tom Cruise approach of Mission Impossible. Let's do what's never been done before without the safety of anything.
Right. And I have done many fire burns with no air before, just holding my breath. So now it's the night of the fire burn, and the air supply went out, and everybody's panicking. They're going to go to a commercial, and I said, I was the stunt coordinator, and I said, no, we're going to go through this. And even my first safety goes, you can't do this. And I said, yes, I can. So we did it. I didn't go 2 minutes. I went a minute and 14 seconds with absolutely no air supply at all. Hit the ground. I almost went into cardiac arrest. You see my feet kicking. The guy just went so long, too long. World's watching. I wanted to put on a show. That's what they hired me for. I'm a professional. And so they put me out, and flames are still coming up. Chris Collinsworth was the interviewer.
Wow.
And big deal. It was like my Oscar moment, if you will.
Yeah.
Big deal. I didn't break the record, but it was unbelievable. USA Today wanted to do an interview on it. Would possess somebody to do this with no air supply, and the flames were, I think he said, 20 feet in the air or something.
How does it affect your eyes?
I have pyro lenses over. There's a hood. There was like a lot of clothing.
You have to really protect your ears too, right?
Yes. There's a special fireproof. There's Nomex, which is fire retardant underwear. I had a few layers of that on there, but then there was a Pyrex, I think it was called, a hood that one of my stunt guys had, like a half-inch thick, with special fireproof lenses.
How old were you when you did this?
1999.
So you're in your about 50.
Yeah.
It's pretty big. You know, I don't know. Has anyone ever told you look like somebody?
A few people.
What did they say?
Bruce Willis,
Okay.
for one. Treat Williams. Back when I was younger, James Garner.
Yeah, I can see that. Wow.
He was a little taller than me. Back when I had longer hair. My hair's in a ponytail right now. What? He's got long hair.
I got a new one.
Right.
So it's not it's not perfect. It's when you put two people together, it's kind of you. Like, so it's like their parents made you kind of thing. So, but I do see the James Garner a bit more. I looked at, so as a photographer, I look, and I'm telling you, you do have a notebook kind of appeal and feel right now. But I'm gonna give you two that would make you laugh a little bit. All right.
Michael Ironside also, because I've doubled him before.
Okay. Well, here we go. I got Robert Duvall, and I have Jack Nicholson. Them together is you.
I used to have hair like that too.
Yeah.
No, it's funny. It's been a great life. It's been a great run. I complained a lot in my younger years, but looking back on it, I'm very blessed.
Well, you complain when you're ungrateful, so that's what younger years are for. You're ungrateful.
Right. And I'm very, very grateful I'm very grateful to be alive. And I remembered a long time ago, I can't honestly say what age I was, but a long time ago, I did not want to be alive. After my car accident, my world was shattered. My career was over. My fighting career was over. I didn't know what I was going to do. I had some things physically that I had to adapt to. My hearing, you can't see it now, but you'll notice I do this quite a bit. I have a nervous, or lack of, a nerve in my mouth, and it makes me drool. And I've gotten humor out of it. I've made humor out of it. Someone will go, Mike, you're drooling out of the right side of your mouth. I said, well, the floor must not be level.
I honestly, I thought it was because you're enjoying the show so much.
Or you're drooling out of both sides of your mouth. I said, oh my gosh, the floor is really off. but you know, I just want people to understand you always have hope. You're forgiven. You need to give yourself a break. We all of us have challenges. Some have more worse challenges than I have. Some have less challenges than I. But as I've been on this earth for the short time that I have, we all have challenges, whether someone can even talk about it. That may be an emotional challenge that they don't feel comfortable talking about what's bothering them. I'm an open book. You know, I wear my heart on the sleeves, all these one-liners. Okay. I shoot from the hip, and I'm not afraid to tell you how I feel, what I'm feeling about. And if you can't seem to understand that, that really is not my problem. It took me a long, long time to get that into my head.
I would like to interject that to your point about some people have more challenges than you and some have less. People that play bigger have more challenges. And I'll give you just two examples. Thank you for wearing that shirt, by the way. It patronizes America. It also patronizes musicians. It also patronizes creatives. So
Nashville.
Nashville, and I was just in Nashville
You were
yesterday.
just in Nashville. I wore this for you.
Thank you, and I wore this for you for the fire.
Right on.
And I went
and the blood I bled.
yes. Well, I went to the museum. I went to the country museum, and it is. They say it takes 3 hours. That's if you're going fast. I only lasted 2 hours because it was just so much great information, and I did need to go to the airport. But I would go back there, and I would go back there where I could just be with almost every single piece. I mean, it is the Louvre of America. I mean, it is so gorgeous what country music means and what those artists
Sure.
went through. So I look at you and I look at that shirt and I say Dolly Parton or I say Johnny Cash. And I say them for two different standpoints. Johnny Cash from a standpoint that was a dark man who overcame a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And what triumphs and what amazing heart he had. And then Dolly Parton, I knew she was great, but after I went through the exhibit at Nashville, I will say she is our Gandhi of America. She gives away
Yes.
millions, if not billions, of dollars in books and her time, and she doesn't do any of it for the publicity. In fact, she pushes the publicity away, which causes it to be bigger. But she doesn't want the award; she just wants to make a difference. And I want to say this to you, sir.
God bless you.
You have a project, and this is one of the reasons you're on the show. I'd like you to share your vision, your project, so that the people here can support you. You can talk about the project, and you can also talk about how people can go to your site to support it or find out more about it.
Okay, thank you. The website, first of all, you were just asking about, is MikeWalterEntertainment.com. Real simple. And my project is Another in the Fire. And it's based on the book Face the Fire. And that logo may help you find the website. And this took me, and I'm not embarrassed by this, it's just taken what it's taken, 35 years. We are now in development. Financing is not locked in yet, but we have a sizzle reel, which I sent you. We have the website. It's funny, when I first wrote
You
this.
mentioned this part too. You mentioned the song.
Yeah, the song. It was Another in the Fire by Hillsong United. Can you play that or no?
We've seen when we do that you can't hear the.
Okay.
So we'll
Beautiful song.
Yes.
And when I I got a contract with Capital Christian Record Group on it. And there's other stuff, other songs on the soundtrack, but that's the title song. And I owe a lot of credibility to my wife. She heard it, she played it for me, and she also knew another singer in Canada who had another song that she heard, and I liked it, and it made sense. But Another in the Fire, we I produced a sizzle reel. I think it's a minute 20 seconds, something like that. And so got permission from Capital Christian Record Group to use it in advertising for investors and on my reel. So I sent it to the editor, and when she sent it back to me finished, I said, well, this is just unbelievable. She goes, Mike, I didn't do anything. I said, what do you mean? She goes, no, really, I did not do a thing. I played the song and your reel. Everything just fit.
That's beautiful.
That's pretty amazing.
Synchronicity.
And so on this is what the artwork, this is the artwork piece. It says at the top, some say it was the day I lost my innocence. Others say it was the day I went crazy. Michael Sinclair Walter. And that was the day of my molestation. Okay. Then it says another in the fire. And my point being, another in the fire, the angel, there's always another in the fire. And on the sizzle reel, you'll hear that another in the fire, and then you'll see an angel at the end of the sizzle reel. So it also states here on May 22nd, 1980 at midnight, it was on that night I would die. And then the editor put a quote on here, a true phoenix from the ashes, a true phoenix from the ashes story that will rip your heart open to greater love and knock down doors to worlds beyond. And then the script editor wrote, this is an incredible, poignant story, and to know that it is real is both heart-wrenching and inspiring. You will feel the power of the hero's journey. We all have a story of our journey of life, our own motion picture of strength and struggles, in our own personal hero's journey of walking through the darkness and returning to the light.
Well, I have checked your book. I've not read it thoroughly, but I've read enough to know that I wanted you on the show. And I just want to say that there are aspects of this book that I think I could help you with that could really have more impact than one you deserve to have. And I want to also say you're of James Garner, who is one of my favorite actors of all time, and one of my favorite movies of all time is The Notebook. And you do resemble the fitting twin. And I'm going to put this on real quick. This is one of my favorite parts of his career. I mean, he had many beautiful parts, but this was one of my favorites. And
yeah, that was a tearjerker.
Oh my gosh. And it resembled my parents' marriage almost identically. My mom had Alzheimer's. And by the way, if she hadn't had Alzheimer's, just to be clear, I would never know you. She had to have Alzheimer's for me to wake up and realize that life is a bigger game to play. So I'm going to finish my five big questions I like to ask for those that want to know how to be more like Michael Sinclair Walter, and also just to have a better life. So here we go. What book changed your life?
The Bible.
Number two?
Number two book? Probably the one I wrote, Face the Fire.
Fair enough. I asked that because the Bible is the number one thing that people say, and I want to know what other book people can read besides the Bible, which maybe somebody have already read. So, Number two, what movie inspires you?
Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon, and because of my relationship with Danny Inosanto, and prior to that, there's a couple of them. Billy Jack.
That's Clint Eastwood?
No, Clint Eastwood's in Unforgiven. Okay. Billy Jack was with Tom Laughlin.
Gotcha.
And it was about what our government was going through in the Indian movement, and I was in the Indian movement in the 1970s. I've always been inspired. I don't know why. Maybe I felt I was an underdog. I have always been inspired to help the underdog, or what we perceived as the underdog. And then Clint Eastwood's The Unforgiven. and it's a metamorphosis because we are all forgiven.
Yeah. All right. What song gets you going?
Free Bird by Led Zeppelin.
That's great. That's Leonard Skinner.
What did I say?
You said Led Zeppelin.
You're right, Leonard Skinner.
And what's funny is I just saw Leonard Skinner's shirt in the beginning of them in the Nashville Museum too.
Okay.
And then
maybe I was thinking of Stairway to Heaven.
well, I mean, you put those two together, I'm sure there's some magic that's going to happen.
I thought I was perfect, and I found out I wasn't. I thought I was right, and I've proven myself that I'm not.
Well, my dad always says that he thought he made a mistake. He was incorrect one time, but it was a mistake.
Yeah, I say that I made a mistake in 1968, but I don't make mistakes, so I must have been incorrect.
Who's your hero?
Probably my mom.
Who would you like to meet you haven't met?
Jesus.
And what quote do you live by?
Never ever give up.
And how can people reach you again?
MikeWalterEntertainment.com. Go to the contact page, which is at the top right. Hit that, and you'll see my email, my phone number. But you'll also see social media links, which you might be a little bit entertained. I got the Las Vegas Fireburn, my IMDb page with sizzle reel on it, and some other stuff of stunt reels, which is very entertaining.
I would say so. Man, you've lived a life, and as you said, you chose it. You chose to live a big life.
Yes, sir.
So it was an honor to have you on the show, an honor to have you as part of the people that are moving the world in the right direction. Believing.
God bless you, brother. Thank you so much.
God bless you. I'll see you in New Mexico this year. I'm pretty sure. I'm manifesting it.
Okay.
All right. This is Dr. Smiley Show. Follow Michael Sinclair Walter, and you will be a better person. Thank you very much. Have a great day.